Hi Scorpio, welcome to your love reading for October 2019. Let's go ahead and see what is coming up for you as far as love and romance. This is a love reading for the sign of Scorpio for October 2019. The first card you have, Scorpio, is the Knight of Rods. Love reading for the sign of Scorpio for October. Nine of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Scorpio for October. The Magician. Love reading for the sign of Scorpio for October. The Hangman. Love reading for the sign of Scorpio for October. Three of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Scorpio for October. The Moon. Love reading for the sign of Scorpio for October. Five of Rods. Love reading for the sign of Scorpio for October. The Emperor. Love reading for the sign of Scorpio for October. And the Sun. Okay, what's the most important thing that Scorpio needs to hear about their love life for October 2019? The message that you have is the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups does represent a significant relationship, a strong bond, and soulmate energy. So we'll come back to this card to see how it ties in with the rest of the reading. If you would like a private reading with me, just scroll down and you'll see a link to my website, channelguidance.com. Okay, so let's see what you have going on here. You have the Knight of Rods, the Nine of Swords, and the Magician. So I mean, just here, these two cards, I see that there's something that the sign of Scorpio is really kind of pushing to make happen. I feel like you're trying really hard in making a relationship happen, or you're trying really hard to push your relationship to the next level. The Knight of Rods this is someone who is not going to stop until they get what they want. This is someone who is relentless, who's going to keep pushing, who's going to keep hoping and working towards a specific goal. And then we also have the Magician, which is all about empowerment. And the Magician is creating his own reality. But yet, right in the center of the reading, we have the Nine of Swords. So I feel like the sign of Scorpio, like you're giving everything that you have towards a relationship or a marriage. I mean, I feel like, you're with the Magician, you feel like you can make this happen. You're going out of your way to maybe keep a marriage together or a relationship, but yet you're also agonizing over this. You have the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords, it could be that you feel that all of your efforts have been in vain as far as a relationship or a marriage, or you're fearing that everything that you've done has not been enough. And I also see that, let me just kind of bring you down here, because I also see that in the next row. You've got the Hangman, the Three of Pentacles, and the Moon. So, I mean, the Three of Pentacles is the same energy as the Knight of Rods and the Magician, because the Three of Pentacles tells me that you have done everything that you can and then some to either make a relationship happen or to keep a relationship or a marriage together, and yet nothing. Silence. You have the Hangman. There's nothing going on here. It's in your relationship or your love life is in limbo, even though you have done so much. I mean, just seeing these three cards, this shows me that the sign of Scorpio, you have done everything. You have gone out of your way to make things better, or to make a relationship move forward. Yet, there's nothing going on here. Everything's in limbo, and there's a lot of confusion. With the Moon, I mean, this can definitely be that it's a general reading, so you have to kind of keep in mind how this applies to you. There could be a lot of things that you don't know about the person that you love. There could be, a lot of things that are hidden. Maybe there are things they're hiding from you. Maybe there's reasons why you can't be together. But the Moon can also be, there are strong fears. Maybe as far as commitment, for those of you where there is no marriage. The Moon, I mean, it represents fears. It represents someone who's in denial. But again, at the same time, I see there is a lot of effort here. Like somebody has gone out of their way to make things happen, and yet, nothing to show for. Everything is stuck, and there's a whole lot of agonizing here with the Nine of Swords. Now, at the bottom here, you've got the Five of Rods, which can definitely be that maybe there's a lot of conflict around your love life right now. For some of you, there can be a rival. Not for everyone, but sometimes the Five of Rods can be that there is someone else who's interested in the person that you love. But for others, this is just conflict. Perhaps the person that you love is feeling conflicted about you. Maybe they don't know if they want to be with you. I do feel like you have done everything that you can. Like you have done everything that you can to try to make things right, to try to make things happen. You even have the Emperor down here. The Emperor means that you've really taking back your power. You're taking charge. And I do feel like for many of you, you can actually see things turn around. You have the Sun as the final card that I pulled here. The Sun always represents success. The answer is always yes. So for some of you, it could be that there's waiting involved because, you know, things are just in limbo right now. The Hangman is actually all about perspective. And with the Nine of Swords here, it could be that you need to look at things in a different light. There could be something you don't know as far as why things are not moving forward. Again, when you have done everything that you can, Knight of Rods, Three of Pentacles, the Magician, and the Emperor. I feel like the Sign of Scorpio has gone beyond the call of duty when it comes to a specific person, and yet you have nothing to show for. You're agonizing over this. There could be a lot of things you don't know, and yet you still have the possibility of success here in love with the Sun. Okay, let's get a few more cards so we can get an idea of what's really going on here. What other messages are there for the sign of Scorpio for October? What other messages are there for the sign of Scorpio for October? What other messages are there for the sign of Scorpio? Okay, so we have, what is this? The King of Swords. So this would be an air sign, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Male or female, Sun, Moon, or Rising. This can even represent you, Scorpio, if you have a Moon or Rising and an air sign. So, I mean, again, I see all this effort here, and it does seem that somebody has been wronged. We have the Justice card, which can represent the sign of Libra. But justice also means, you know, that maybe things have been unfair to you, or it could be to, you know, the person that you're involved with. You can kind of reverse everything that I'm saying here, because the Justice card just shows that someone has been wronged. There has been an injustice, and now somebody is holding back. The Nine of Wands. Somebody has put up resistance. Somebody has put up a bunch of walls and defenses because they have been hurt. And that could be, you know, why we see so much effort here. Like Scorpio is doing everything that they can, pulling out all the stops to make something happen. Maybe, you know, to ask for forgiveness, an apology with the Justice card, yet nothing. There's resistance here with the Nine of Rods. Somebody doesn't want to be hurt. But again, you do have the Sun down here, which means that there can still be success. There can still be a positive outcome when it comes to this person that you're trying to connect with. With the Moon, usually there's a lot of things that are going on that you're not aware of. Let's go ahead and get a few more cards from the confirmation deck. What other messages are there for the sign of Scorpio for October 2019? You have the Eight of Wands, the Fool, and the Five of Swords. What's the most important thing that Scorpio needs to hear about their love life for October 2019? The Five of Pentacles. So the Five of Pentacles does mean that maybe you're feeling very lonely right now. This is the energy of being left out in the cold, of abandonment. So some of you may truly feel abandoned by the person that you love. The other main energy was the Two of Cups. It could be that maybe you were abandoned. You did have the door slammed in your face. Yet that soulmate connection, you still feel that strong kind of emotional bond, that closeness to that person. And again, things can change. Look at this. You got the Eight of Wands, the Fool, and the Five of Swords. So the Eight of Wands can represent communication, long anticipated communication from the person that you're interested in. It can also represent, you know, that finally something you have been waiting for finally manifests. The Eight of Wands is actually about movement, change, and excitement. And, you know, there is a new beginning here with the Fool. For some of you, I mean, it's hard to say no general reading, but seeing this with the Five of Swords, because I mean, to me, the Five of Swords, this is negative energy. To me, it's as bad as the devil. And it has shown up in quite a few spreads. The Five of Swords sometimes represents very unwise decisions that will come back to haunt you. You need to be careful. And because it's come up with the Fool, and again, I see that you have done like so much work here. You've done like everything that you can to get somebody back or to fix a relationship. It could be that maybe for some of you it is time to move on. I think that came up for the sign of Cancer as well. Even for Pisces. Because of this new beginning here, I mean, there is a chance for a new beginning. There is a risky new beginning, but there is a chance. There's a chance for change. But then you have the Five of Swords, which does represent, you know, just bad decision. It can also represent sabotage. So again, I feel like for some of you, you're going out of your way to make something happen, to keep a relationship together, to keep a marriage together. You can actually still see change, even if you've had the door slammed in your face. You have the Five of Pentacles, but for some of you, you have to be careful with this, because this may not turn out the way that you want with the Five of Swords. This also represents an empty victory. You get what you want, and then you wonder why you ever pursued this. Again, it's not going to apply to everyone, because this is a general reading, but that is what I see in this reading. You also have, I just realized down here, actually there's 3 of them. You have the Five of Rods, the Five of Swords, and the Five of Pentacles. The fives all represent challenges, obstacles, problems. So I feel like you're dealing with something really complicated in the month of October. You're dealing with something really complicated. And for some of you, it could be that you're feeling abandoned. You're feeling that somebody has just slammed the door in your face. But I don't see the sign of Scorpio kind of taking this, gently and being like, okay, they don't want me anymore. I see that you're fighting back, like you're pulling out all the stops, doing everything that you can to get this person back. I don't feel like you're just giving up. But again, I feel like you're going to have that chance. There's still possible success here. There is a possible new beginning. But I feel like for some of you, like you have to be careful. It could be that history could repeat itself, or that you might regret this somewhere down the line. Okay, let's go ahead and do the X spread. Let's go ahead and see what is going on with your ex, Scorpio. Show us the energies around Scorpio and their ex for October. You have the High Priestess, Scorpio, and their ex for October. 2 of Swords, Scorpio and their ex for October. The Lovers, Scorpio and their ex for October. 9 of Rods, 9 of Wands, Scorpio and their ex for October. 4 of Cups, Scorpio and their ex for October. 5 of Pentacles, so this is a repeat card, and I believe this card came up as well. Let's see what else we get. Scorpio and their ex for October. 6 of Pentacles, Scorpio and their ex for October. The Magician, also a repeat card, Scorpio and their ex for October. And the 8 of Pentacles. Okay, so this is what we have as far as your ex. Let's go ahead and start at the top, and then we'll tie everything together. You have the High Priestess, the 2 of Swords, and the Lovers. So for some of you, there could actually be a choice as far as getting back with your ex. You have the High Priestess and the 2 of Swords. The 2s do represent choices, possibly choosing between 2 things, 2 people, 2 outcomes. You might be involved with someone else, and then your ex returns and you have to choose, or it could be that your ex is involved with someone else. Maybe they realize they still have feelings for you, and now they have to decide. There is some type of choice here with the High Priestess number 2 and the 2 of Swords. The fact that you have the Lovers here, the Lovers can represent the sign of Gemini, but I mean the Lovers also represents that there's still that strong connection, that strong pull towards this person. This represents a relationship that you want very much. You very much want this to happen. That connection is still there. You also have the High Priestess, and you're starting with the High Priestess, which means that your intuition is spot on about your ex. So some of you might be feeling like it's not hopeless, because I did see in the first spread that some of you, like, you've done like everything imaginable to try to get this person back, and yet you still have nothing. Like, you have nothing to show for. So your intuition is speaking to you here as far as this connection. Your intuition is right. Either your intuition is telling you you're going to get back together, or your intuition is telling you like maybe it's time to move on. But you also have the 2 of Swords here, which is kind of like the Hangman, which you did have in the first spread. There's just stuck energy between you and your ex, because someone refuses to act or refuses to make a decision. It seems like you, the sign of Scorpio, like you have done everything that you can as far as getting back your ex, but yet there's nothing. Again, with the 2 of Swords, someone is refusing to make a decision. So I mean, this feels like it's your ex. Your ex maybe is refusing to hear you, or refusing to make that decision to come back to you. But this is just really standing out as that love, that connection is still there. Now look at this second row here. The 9 of Wands, the 4 of Cups, and the 5 of Pentacles. There is some strong unhappiness here. The 4 of Cups does, represent someone who is unhappy and unfulfilled, and loneliness. This actually was the main energy from the first spread that we did. So, I mean, I feel like if your ex is kind of pushing you away and your ex is, you know, kind of not letting you in, it could be maybe that, you know, they're not necessarily not wanting you back, but they might be in a place, you know, where there's just some strong unhappiness around them right now with the Five of Pentacles. This is a card of suffering. And, you know, it's just feeling really unhappy and kind of turning inward. There's also this message from the Nine of Wands where right now your ex might be in a place where they're just, you know, kind of very on guard as far as maybe trusting you again. Because we did have the Justice card in the first spread. And the Justice card does usually represent that, you know, something was unfair. Someone was done wrong. Here it is. So maybe, you know, you let your ex down. It could be that they're worried about trusting you again. Maybe, you know, here they're just kind of feeling still very unhappy over what happened. That would represent this really, really tough decision from the Two of Swords. Now, with this bottom row, let me just bring up the Magician here. In the first spread that we did, we had the Emperor. I'm looking at him right now. So, to me, the Emperor and the Magician are very similar because this means power, control, empowerment. So, I feel like there is something that you can do for the sign of Scorpio to reunite with your ex, because the Magician means that you can manifest. You can manifest a relationship with your ex, a reunion. You have the Six of Pentacles right next to it. This is you getting what you deserve. You have the power to do that because you have the Magician for the month of October. You can manifest this, manifest the relationship that you deserve. But you are being told by the cards here that it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of effort. And as it is, I already see that you've done a lot of work from the first spread. You've pulled out all the stops. You've done everything that you possibly can. Just know that if you want to reconnect with your ex, there's still more work to be done here. But I still see that connection here. Okay, let me get a few more cards and let's see what else is going on for you. Scorpio and their ex for October. Scorpio and their ex for October. Scorpio and their ex for October. Yeah, I mean, look at this. You've got the Seven of Cups and the Nine of Swords. So as far as your ex, you know, there's a lot of confusion. Maybe this is why they're not making that decision to take you back or to even be open to the possibility of making a decision. This is refusing to make a decision, and it just seems like maybe your ex is really overwhelmed emotionally. The Seven of Cups is being emotionally scattered and confused, lost. That would make sense with the Four of Cups and the Five of Pentacles, both unhappy energies. There's, you know, also a lot of fears here. We've got the Nightmare card, the Nine of Swords, a lot of agonizing. Your ex could be agonizing about letting you back in, confused about letting you back in. There can be a big change here. We've got the Death card, which means in the month of October, there can be a huge transformation between you and your ex. But just know that there's a lot of confusion. There could be a lot going on that you don't know. There's a lot of emotion behind the Seven of Cups. They're very lost. And, you know, there could be a lot of fears as far as trusting you again, letting you back in. They could be worried that things are going to end up exactly, you know, the same. You could break up again. There's just a lot of agonizing and a lot of stress with the Nine of Swords. Let me get a few cards from the confirmation deck. What other messages are there for the sign of Scorpio about their ex for October 2019? We have the Nine of Pentacles, Scorpio and their ex for October. Got the Chariot, Scorpio and their ex for October, and the Two of Swords. So the Two of Swords is the repeat card. We've got one here and one here. So there's just, you know, there's stuck energy. Someone is, you know, kind of refusing to make a decision. Usually to me, the Two of Swords means, you know, that someone thinks that it's too complicated. Maybe there's too many things that happen between you and your ex and they feel like it's just too much. Again, let's just look at these two. Same card, different deck. There's a really tough decision. I also feel for some of you, maybe not for everyone, the decision could be about a third party. Maybe someone has to leave another relationship. I think, yeah, you did have the Five of Wands in the first spread if you go back and watch, and that card usually does represent a rival. It could be that the choice between you and maybe the other person is too difficult and they don't want to make that decision right now. There's just nothing is happening between you and your ex because someone is refusing to take action, refusing to make a decision. That's just what I get from this spread. And it feels like, your ex might just be looking out for themselves. They have the Nine of Pentacles here. This is a card of doing what's best for you. This is a card of integrity, self-worth, and self-love. And it seems like it's tied to not making a decision. Like, this is what's best for me. We also have the Chariot, which does represent the sign of Cancer. But the Chariot also it represents movement, success, victory. So because it's here, I mean, there can still be, a change, because we see that same message here with the Death card. There can be a huge transformation, this whole situation. It just feels like things with your ex are stuck. I mean, they are as stuck as can be, with the Two of Swords 2 times. And then the first spread, if you go back and watch, the Hangman, and so many cards, I can't even count them. So many cards of you doing everything that you can to try to win them back, to try to fix things. Let me see. Let me look at this for a minute, see what else I got. And you also have, you've got the Six of Pentacles here, and you've got the Lovers, which is also a 6. To me, the 6s represent balance and harmony. And like, something could definitely be out of balance in the relationship with your ex that is not allowing it to manifest. Even though here, like, you're ready to manifest this relationship, to make things happen again, but something could be out of balance. And that could be why we have the Eight of Pentacles popping up, showing there's a lot of work to do for you to get this person back. It just seems like there's, just unhappiness here, and they're holding back from you. They're afraid maybe of letting you back in with the Nine of Wands and the Nine of Swords. A lot of agonizing over, a possible reunion, because the Death card is an ending and a new beginning. So they could be highly stressed about maybe a new beginning with you with the Nine of Swords. They could be imagining the worst. They, again, highly confused with the Seven of Cups. But yet, you have this message right away, third card with the Lovers. That connection is still there. There's still possible movement with the Chariot. This is the ultimate card of big changes, big movement. But it's like, your ex is kind of saying, like, no. Like, for some of you, it could be this. I've told the other signs this as well. There could be waiting. This may not kind of manifest in the month of October. It could manifest in November or December. It's just like, no, like, I can't make that decision right now. But you still have very encouraging messages of movement, and everything changing very unexpectedly with death. A huge transformation in the whole situation. And again, you seem like very much empowered. Like, you're going to make this happen. And again, we saw that in the first spread with all of these cards showing that you're not going to stop until you get what you want. You're manifesting a new beginning. Again, it could be that you have to kind of wait for them to kind of be ready to make a difficult decision, whether it's just trusting you again or maybe choosing between you and someone else. Okay, Scorpio, this has been your love reading for October 2019. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again next month.